Okay, so now we've identified our access point we're going to go after and its MAC address. So what I want to do is restart the monitor mode on WLAN 0 so we can capture just on channel 3. And what we do is go airmon-ng WLAN 3, or WLAN 0 rather, 3. And that restarts the whole thing on, we tell it to actually start. So we've started up, it's listening on 3. Now, how do we know what it's capturing? Well, we're going to go ahead and capture on channel 3, and we're going to capture to the screen and to a file simultaneously. So let's airdump-ng. We're going to do a -C3 for channel 3. And then we're going to say --BSSID. And we're going to do a $, and we're going to say -W VTC_cap1 mon 0. Now let me explain how this is set up. We're using airdump to do our capture. We're going to send it to a file and the screen. We're going to go on channel 3. We need to specify the BSSID that we want, which is the access point MAC address. And I've already put this into a variable because I don't want to type the MAC address every time I do this. -W means write to a capture file, and I have to give it the capture file name, which is VTC_cap1, and we want it to listen on mon 0, our monitor mode interface. So let's do that. And now we actually are only picking up that particular access point, which is good because now we don't have to see the clutter of traffic on the screen. Now, one other thing that's interesting here is we have a station associated with that particular access point. The MAC address ends in 13, 19:13. And so what we're going to do is we're going to grab this MAC address here and, again, put that into a variable because we'll wind up having to type that later if we don't. And that's not something you have to do. That's just laziness on my part. Or rather, efficiency on my part, I should say. So let's call this VIC. And that way, when we type in our commands, we can just use the variable names. So now we've done that. Now, what we're looking for is a WPA handshake. And when we get one, it'll show up right here on the top of the screen. So we have to cause this to happen. And we're capturing to see if we get one. So how do we get one? Well, let's go to our other terminal here. Let's move this up a little bit. And what I want to do is send deauthentication packets to the victim, the client, and the access point. So there's a command I have to type in to do that, and that's air replay, and that's another component of Aircrack. So let's go air replay, and we're going to say air replay -ng-0. That is a deauthentication attack, and we're going to only send it one time. We could send it 10 times. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and send it 10 times. And then -A, and we have to specify the access point. And rather than type in that long MAC address, we're just going to specify our variable here. And we are wanting to put in a client also, so we're going to put in another MAC address, in this case a victim, and we have to specify mon 0 as our capture interface. So we're going to send this deauthentication. What it's going to do is it's going to send a bunch of deauthentication packets to both the client and the access point to make them deauthenticate from each other. And when they do that, they're going to try to authenticate with each other again. And once they do that, then we hope that they do a 4-way handshake and we capture it. So let's bring this down a little bit, and let's go ahead and enter. We're sending these deauthentication packets. We're sending 10 of them, okay? And it'll send 64 to one and 64 to the other. It actually sends 128 altogether. Now, you can send just one if you want, but you may not get a good WPA handshake. Now, notice up here on my capture right here what I got. I got a WPA handshake, and I got it to that particular BSSID. So it actually looks like I got what I was after. So now that I've got what I was after, I've got basically the hash of the WPA key. So from now on, all I really have to do is do some cracking to get that handshake cracked and get the WPA key, the password. So how do I do that? Well, in the next session, I'm going to show you. In this third part coming up, I'm going to show you how to use Aircrack to use this particular WPA handshake to get the key. So let's go ahead and take a look at that.